Hi there, everybody. My name is Margaret Pinard. Welcome to my channel. You're on BookTube. So, what are we doing today? Welcome to my April TBR. It's temporarily here, looking quite precarious. So, we're going to get that underway in a second. But as always, first I'm going to talk about coming attractions. So, today is Sunday. The first week of the month is always like the same videos for me for a little bit of routine to fall back on. I had the first Friday productivity sprint, which went well. And today is the TBR. So what comes next? The wrap up for March, which is going to be pretty epic. It's in the bookcase behind her that you can't see because of the banner. So that's pretty sneaky. But there are a lot of chunky tomes there. So there's going to be a lot of discussion on Wednesday, April 6th. We're going to be wrapping up all of March, including Irish Readathon reads, which are not the chunkers. So a little bit of variety there should be good. Then we have changed our date for the karaoke special. We're going to be kicking that off next Saturday, April 9th. So Barrett Laurie will be on my channel and we'll be singing. I've practiced one song, excited for more. And then finally, we've got a panel next Sunday. So 1 week from today, look for an awesome historical fiction panel with my friends Jenna Blum, Rachel Barenbaum, and Tracy Anderson Wood, all lovely ladies who write historical fiction, some of which is set in the first half of the 20th century. What is special about the 20th century? I wonder why I'm highlighting that this month. Could it be because next month, May, is going to be featuring books written in that period? Yes, it would. Yes, it would. You're all very smart. I'm sure you followed me there. So join us next Sunday. It's going to be 11 a.m. Pacific, same time as now, same bat time, same bat channel. So we'll be talking to historical fiction writers today and getting a little bit of their thoughts about the historical novels written then. Maybe they did some research by reading them. So that'd be pretty fun. All right, so I will pop that in the chat later. Encourage any questions if you have them at the moment. And we've got people. So I'm looking away from my notes now. We've got John and Howdy Land. We've got Anita who popped over from Go Indie Now. We've got Jim's Books Reading and Stuff from Tbilisi, Georgia. We've got Leo Bancroft saying good morning. We got Barrett saying hey you. Cool Gamer, hello, hello. And also, Go Indie Now. Long time no see. Sweet. All right. So hello, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. I'm going to jump into what we have for April 1st, and it's going to be nonfiction. So I just popped some tags. Wait, popping tags. That sounds like a song. Maybe it'll go on our playlist, Barrett. Barrett's in two places at once. Nice. Got to drop out a few minutes for another recording. Sunday is a busy day at Go Indie Now. We know this. Yes. All right. So what you may have noticed down below in the description is that April is a surprise month for buddy reads. I have got six. Normally that is not how it goes, but because of scheduling changes and whatnot, that is what we were presented with. So we're going to jump into the nonfiction first. First we have... Let's see, what did I list? The Sum of Us, which I have been waiting to purchase. Oh, let's make this less precarious first. Waiting to purchase. I just went out in the spirit of the book to my local Black-owned bookstore called Third Eye Books and Gifts and bought it. This is the paperback edition by Heather McGhee, who's fabulous. It's called The Sum of Us: What Racism Costs Everyone and How We Can Prosper Together. So it's economic arguments against racism and how it's actually bad for white people too. Interesting, right? So I'm very excited to be reading this with Courtney Ferriter, a fellow booktuber, and we haven't planned it out yet, but I've started reading and I'm on, I don't know, chapter 2. So already very interesting. I've heard her in interviews, Heather McGhee, and she's astoundingly, inspiring and intriguing and a great speaker. So the writing is coming through just like that. So definitely recommend. Maybe you want to read along with us. Anybody? So that's my first nonfiction with Courtney Ferriter, who's just come back to BookTube after an absence. So I'm very much grateful that she is back with us and able to read and discuss. The next nonfiction I'm reading is with Brian of Bookish, and that is a book that has been on his TBR for 20 years. And I haven't had this on my shelf for 20 years, although it was published in 99. This is the paperback from 2003. So it could have been, but I'm sure I didn't get it then. I'm sure I got it used, but I can't tell where because it doesn't have a telltale like used bookstore signal that I can remember, but definitely like years, definitely years. I really like this author, Witold Rybczynski, because he writes basically sociology subjects on popular, common social topics. So what is the one that I've read? I can picture the title. No, the cover in my head, but it's about the last harvest. Is that what it's called? And it's about how the development process works and how things get okayed for clearing, so transitioning farmland into a subdivision, that kind of thing, and land use and decisions, and that happens in our democracy how in different ways. And it was really interesting. So he's got a very accessible style of talking about big things and doing great research. So I'm very excited to read this. Brian, get it off his #ancient TBR. And, we'll see if I like it enough to keep it. I've already started and I'm in chapter 3. So that's a good one as well. Let's see. Put these over here so it doesn't topple over. Leo saying 6. Yes, I know. You'll see. So those are the first 2. Those are my nonfiction choices. I did forget to talk about my ongoing things. So let me just pop back in for a second. Patreon book club on Sunday, April 17th. If anyone is interested, I'll talk about the book in a second when I get to fiction. But we'll be discussing our April book on Sunday, April 17th. So if you want to sign up, there's still plenty of time. If you're a pretty quick reader, the book isn't that long. And so I'll put that in the chat. Boop. And then the other ongoing thing is Sundays on Streamyard signups for the lovely alliteration. This is me just like taking anyone through the bowels, if you will, of Streamyard and explaining how things work, where you go for different things. I just had to check. So here, let me preview. You see this name here? This doesn't have to be here. You can take your name off so that it doesn't like get in the way if you wanted to showcase the bookcase. But it's in a different place than you would think because you can move these little banners and these things in theme, in layout, and in settings. So 3 different places to find something. I mean, they try for easy, but sometimes it can get a little complicated. So if you are interested in doing that, I've got someone signed up for the last Sunday in April, but the one before that is still open if you want like a tutorial just for you. So I'll pop that in the chat as well. Okay, so on to fiction. We have, looking back at my tomes here, it's like Jenga. And I just dropped the peacock feather. All right, let's not mess with that. The next one I've got as a buddy read is actually a read along. It's called the Pachinko Along, which is focused on Pachinko by Min Jin Lee, which I had started to read like 6 months ago-ish, last year sometime. And I got through the first chapter and it was so sparely written and beautifully written and simple and culturally sensitive that I was already feeling heartbreak. And I'm like, this is a big book. If this is what it's going to be like, I need to pace myself. So I put it down and then didn't pick it back up. So hopefully Gem of Books, that's Gemma, is running this. We're all talking on Voxer and whatnot. And having people, there's like a good dozen people on there now. Having people around will help me get through this and like not sniffle and cry my way through this. But yeah, it kind of reminds me of the themes that are in my own books. I mean, not to put myself in the same shelf as Pachinko, but like, yeah, interesting. So that's the feels it's giving me, the kind of feels that I'm trying to put out with my own historical fiction, which is super, super like a mental game for an author. Kind of fun. Jeremy says, you're alive streaming. Is there a schedule posted somewhere that I've missed somehow? Well, great question, Jeremy. I live stream usually Sundays at 11, Tuesdays at 11, and Fridays, depending on whether it's a sprint or not, at 9, 9:30, or 11. So that's usually the time, 11 Pacific. And I usually put it up the week of. So you can always find that on my front page of my channel. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Okay, so that was the first fiction book. Big read along, second attempt, beautiful writing already. I'm only on page 25, so I'm on chapter 4. I'm very excited about this, to read it with Gemma of Gem of Books. So there we go. It's next fiction. What's next? The 2 books that I'm reading with Joe of Go Indie Now. So, again, Jenga. See, I'm succeeding so far. So the first one, I don't know which order we'll read them in, but I'll put the physical one up first, is The Wilding by Benjamin Percy. I have to admit, the reason Benjamin Percy as an author name has stuck in my head is because I've listened to him give interviews and his voice is like mesmerizing, like a cobra. So I'm sort of stuck in a trance. And so I want to read some of his fiction. He's got newer stuff. This is his first book, and I just happened to find it used. And so I thought, yes, Benjamin Percy, let's give one of your first books a chance. So Joe and I will be reading this one. It's a traditional published backlist book, which I like to highlight. And for the other book, which is an indie pub, I have my mom's old iPad, so I don't have it queued up. I'm just going to tell you that the indie pub that we're reading is Strange Luck by A.I. Winters. And that is an author that Joe knows. That is an author that J.D. Estrada has told me about, and he's on like book 3 of the series. So I think it's going to be really good. It's a fantasy. So this is historical family saga. This is going to be like paranormal / fantasy. So those are the 2 books that I'm going to be reading fiction with Joe Compton of Go Indie Now. And we'll be doing a couple live shows on Friday nights succeeding each other to talk about, I guess, the dynamics of like what we're reading and the format that it comes in. So that should be pretty exciting. We've got 2 left standing up there like teeth in a bowling alley. What else do we have to get through? Oh, this is where I've put the note for myself. Please like this video, comment on this video, subscribe to this channel, or share. And instead of a glare, I thought I'd give a Care Bear stare. Because I'm a positivity vampire? I don't know. And just for surviving that Care Bear stare of doom, I'm going to reward you with an announcement of a sale. So if you do read ebooks and you have some format, whether on a tablet or on your computer that you like to read ebooks, all of my books are going to be on sale on Smashwords until my birthday, which is this month. So if you know my birthday, you know the deadline. If you don't, you might have to ask, or you might have to just run out and buy them now. So on Smashwords, let me pop that up. All of my books are 99 cents as ebooks. So there you go. All for surviving the Care Bear stare of doom. You're welcome. So besides that, we have a couple other books that I've started and a couple other themes that are April related that I will detail for you. Yay! Saying hello. Joe's excited for the conversations. Saying hello, and there's a reward. So I'll pop that up for a second. Let me say what the book is for the Patreon book club. So if you've participated in a Digithon, you probably know about this title. This is one of the types of books that I've been gorging on, shall we say, or just putting into my normal rotation, not really gorging on. But April seems like a good month for a native read. So this is Brandon Hobson's Where the Dead Sit Talking, as you can see, National Book Award finalist. It's a couple years old because I wait until things are paperbacks and then I wait to read them because they have to cure like a fine wine on the shelf, don't you find? And oh, look at that. The blurb is from Minjin Lee, author of Pachinko. How funny. I didn't see that until now. So this is a coming of age story of a Cherokee boy, and it's got a lot of content about the foster care system. And I'm assuming there's going to be shades of like the 60s scoop. And if you don't know what that is, ask me in the comments and I'll go into it. But a lot of interesting things in US history and just sort of background info that's good to know, but also a really good story about people finding each other in dark times. So that's what we're going to be discussing on April 17th, Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific with the Patreon book club, which I call Taste Life T. Weiss, because I'm a nerd. All right, one more book on the shelf there, which is the one that I started in between finishing my March must-reads and starting any April ones, and that is This Lovely City by Louise Hare. So this is a historical fiction. She's just coming out with a book, her second book. This is her debut, but she's just coming out with another book, I think, next month, and she's going to be on Crime Time on A Mighty Blaze. So I didn't realize this was a mystery sort of crime fiction, but it is. It's set in 1948, 1950. It's got a little flashback between the two time periods, which isn't very far, but when someone first came to London and when someone now is in the thick of a murder investigation. And so I'm not very far into this either. I'm on page 80, but what attracted me to it is that it is the voice of the Windrush generation that is the story being told. So it's someone who has come over from the Caribbean when London needed to be rebuilt after the war because they needed workers. And so they were hustled through on visas and whatnot, but given no support. So this is a young man who is alone in London and in a very small community of Caribbean Englanders. They don't call them African Americans. And I'm like, what is the word? The Windrush generation is what you would call them because that's when and where they came from. Windrush was the name of one of the ships that they came in on. And he's a jazz musician, so hence the like jazzy front. And he's got all sorts of complications already starting out from like the first chapter, which was quite intriguing. But like I said, I didn't know it was a mystery, a crime fiction. So that will be interesting to finish before and between all the other reads I have. So those are the books that I had on the TBR. What else am I going to highlight because it's April? Now, can anyone guess? Oh, I forgot to say the Libro that I'm listening to. The Libro.fm book is Milltown by Kerri Arsenault. And I will say that listening is probably not my favorite for this one because the author is reading it herself, and she has an accent and a particular style of reading that makes it hard to understand unless you're paying attention intensely. So that makes it more difficult, but the content is great. So I am persevering. This is about, I did not know this. This is about International Papers Factory in Rumford / Mexico, Maine, these two mill towns in Maine. And it's intertwined with the story of her family's history and Acadians' history and industrial history and medical history. And it's got all this stuff wrapped up in one. I think the first time I saw it was on Kim of Middle of the Book Marches channel. And I can't remember if she said yes or no, or maybe it was Heidi's channel. Now I can't remember which one. But anyway, Milltown, talking about Maine and someone's family history, like broken open wide. It's a really interesting book, especially because it's coming right after my last Libro listen, which was Oak Flat, which is a similar like mining history of a town in Arizona. But this is a different population that they're exploiting in Maine. But It's all the same. This is why you got to know your history, folks. So, I just eat it up. It's so good. It's so good to know. It's so good to spread the word. So, yes. All right. Oh, I'm catching up here. I didn't realize that there was more chat. Jeremy says, a certain Hawaiian booktuber was mentioning to me that she has a signed copy of one of your books. Did I send? Oh, yeah, because Hawaii is regular postage. So Marilyn Maya Mendoza, I think she paid via PayPal. So I sent her a direct mail. Yeah. Hey, if anyone wants to get in touch, pay me via PayPal, pay me via Ko-fi, and put a note in there that says, hey, I want a signed copy. I don't have that set up on my website, but there's other ways to do it. So just get creative. Get creative. Hello, Writer in Rwanda. This is Marion over at the Writer in Rwanda channel. Thanks for stopping in. Nice to see you. Leo says, love the cover. Brian saying hello because I tagged him on Twitter. Leo saying sounds powerful. Marion telling me African Caribbean. Thank you. Afro-Caribbean. Yeah, got it. And Jim chiming in with, in UK, people from the Caribbean are often called West Indians or Afro-Caribbean. Sweet. Thank you for the Brits in the room letting me know. And Emmy North, so another Brit in the room. I've just gone through my April TBR almost to the end. I think the only thing we have are the pieces that are April related, so are temporally relevant. And so what happens in April? Shakespeare Day. So as part of my effort to read Shakespeare when something comes up like Shake-tember or his birthday in April, I've got 4 paperback copies left. And, if you have an opinion of which one I should be reading this April, let me know. The choices are Othello, As You Like It, The Merchant of Venice, and Henry V. So if you've got opinions, voice them in the comments, and maybe I'll get to it by the end of the month. But I'll probably read one of these. As I've said before, I'm not the best Shakespeare reader without a community to read it with, because I think I get something, but it just doesn't hit right. So if anyone wants to read those, let me know. I'll add another buddy read. Barrett, if you want to read those instead of an econ book, and be brave and go Shakespeare, go ahead. And what's the other thing that is happening in April? Well, it is National Poetry Month. But I went and got my Shakespeare books for that one. I went and looked for a poetry collection because I was sure I had a poetry that I hadn't read yet. And I don't. So if you've got poetry recs, put them in the comments. I'll probably go to the library. Or if it's an indie poetry collection like J.D. Estrada's, which is the last one I read, I'll buy it online or have it shipped. So there you go. Okay, we've got Shakespeare opinions here. Jeremy says, those Shakespeare plays are all so different. Out of them, Othello would be my favorite. As You Like It is a lot of fun, but weird. Yeah, see, with all the heavy stuff, I don't know that I want. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I also bought a couple of author Emily Harris's romances just to give me some freaking space in between these big, heavy nonfiction reads. So maybe a Shakespeare that is funny will be a good breather. Brian says, Henry V is my favorite. Great speeches, but it is pretty dude bro Shakespeare. Yes, but if I can picture Kenneth Branagh giving the speeches, I mean, that might be worth it. That might be good. Anita says, I vote you read Othello. Okay, that's 2 for Othello. I don't know. There's been some good Othello performances lately. Emmy says, wow, amazing. I'm not the best Shakespeare reader either. Yeah. And Jeremy says, if you're going to read Henry V, you should read the whole 8-play War of the Roses series from Shakespeare. Does that mean start at the beginning? Because, Emmy says, Margaret Atwood did have a poetry collection, I think, called Dearly. She used the Handmaid's Tale fame to get it out. Interesting. Leo is laughing at dude bro Shakespeare that Brian said. And Anita says, shameless self-promo, new poetry collection will be out in April. Ooh, okay. So Anita, female-focused and not my usual stuff. If that means not horror fantasy, I am interested. So I'll definitely check out A.F. Stewart. Check her out on the channels. Yeah, so that is up for grabs. I will update y'all later with whatever I choose for the Shakespeare and the poetry. But just wanting to get the news out there that Shakespeare is a thing in April because his death day we're sure of. I think his death day is April 23rd, and Michael C.B. Chen is running a marathon on that day. But I will be doing something Shakespeare related. His birthday, I think, is uncertain. I think it's like April 21st or somewhere in there. But his death day is definitely known because he was famous by then. And the poetry we will also update later on. So I think that's what I got. Reminders. Oh, so the last little announcement is going to be reminders for May of the Moderns. So it is April now, and Poetry Month, Shakespeare Month, sale on all my books on Smashwords Month, but also preparation for May of the Moderns Month. So I will point you to the resources for that. We've got a sign up. If you can read one book, you will be participating, and if you talk about that book, I will put that video in my playlist. So sign up to be a buddy reader, and you can choose from the books that are listed on there that if people have already contributed, or you can add a new one. It's just any book written between 1901 to 1945. And we've got a storygraph challenge for that. So I will also put that in the chat. That is another place to get recommendations. We've got people who have written the prompts for me, famous booktubers like ye old Brian of Bookish in the comments. So I've put their recommendations and resources for those prompts in the Storygraph Challenge, so you can check that out. If you manage to complete 3 of those prompts, and I will check because I am a stickler, you'll be entered to win a giveaway. And when we do the wrap party in June, we'll be doing the giveaway spinner wheel of fun, as Hank likes to call it. And there's 3 prizes. So if you watch the kickoff announcement video, I go into detail about the prizes. And last little reminder is that here is the playlist. When you talk about books, I will be adding your videos to this playlist. So keep it secret, keep it safe. Wait, don't keep it secret. Shout it from the rooftops. That's what I meant to say. And cheers to anyone who will get all my Lord of the Rings references. I love you. You're perfect. Don't change. All right, so that is the last little piece that I'll leave you with. Does anyone have any questions about my TBR? Let me see if I can do this. This is when it would be good to have an assistant putting the music on. Oh, let me get the banner out of the way. Let's see if I can do it. There we go. There we go. Totally doable, right? Well, just one of the Shakespeares, but totally doable because here we get shit done. With Bean's help and lots of time. So yeah, there we go. There is my April TBR. Thanks everyone for coming in to say hello. Maybe I will see you for the Patreon book club on the 17th. If you're interested, that's the easy link to remember, bit.ly Patreon_MP4, because why not? And I don't know. It's not even 30 minutes past yet. So tell me your most anticipated April read. Is it any of these? Is it Shakespeare? Is it poetry? Let me know below. And thank you for joining. Catching up on the chat now for my outro. Marion saying, for poetry, Brand New Ancients by K. Tempest is excellent. K. Tempest is someone that I have on my wish list on Storygraph for something earlier. And The World's Wife by Carol Ann Duffy, particularly like Queen Hare, a neat twist to an old tale. You do love the retellings. Okay, well, I will check out that second one. And the first one, I don't think that's the title that I have from K. Tempest. I think it's something different. So I will definitely look this up. Thank you, thank you. Marion G. Woolley. Jeremy says the first rule of the buddy read is you do talk about the buddy read. Yes, thank you. Speaking of dude bro rules, there we go. Jim saying the second rule of the buddy read is you do talk about the buddy read. Okay, so we had the same thoughts. Brian already started a clearing in the distance. Yes. What page are you on? I think I'm like up to page 25 or something, chapter 4. Sweet. So I don't know. I would still call that an anticipated read because you haven't read it yet. So Emmy North started Kyoshi Rising and looking forward to finishing the second book in April. Avatar fan here. Sweet. I read the second book in the Scythe trilogy, but because the April is pretty ambitious, I think the third book is going to have to wait for June, honestly, because May is going to be too busy with all the buddy reads and the readathon. But I think I'll get to my third Scythe book in June. I think that'll be nice, let down, easy kind of decompress after May. Brian finished our first section and started reading nonfiction on the weekends. Oh, okay. So you segregate the reading. Interesting. Hey, everyone's got their own strategy, approach. So yeah, that's good. Okay, well, anticipate those April reads. Thank you for joining, everyone. Happy reading. It's Sunday, so get that last ounce of reading time that you can before it is a weekday again. And I will talk to you again soon, the soonest, about our March wrap-up on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific, if you're free. Thanks, everybody, and